And we're here. There's a look. The teams have arrived, and we are moments away from some OCAA men's volleyball. The Redeemer Royals on the road visiting the home court Humber Hawks. It should be a great matchup. Two teams that are right neck and neck in the standings. An important game here, as this is the last game of the regular season for Redeemer, second last for Humber. They have one more matchup on the weekend. They're going to be hosting a game on Saturday against the St. Clair Saints. My name is Matt Hamill, alongside my broadcast partner, Manny Kalra. Manny, not too long from now, this game is going to be underway. What's standing out to you with this matchup?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, both teams neck and neck in the standings, Matt. The Hawks returned home after a 3-game road trip and on a 2-game win streak. With an 11-5 record on the season, the Hawks have dominated opponents at home, winning 6 of the 7 games inside the Hawks' net. One thing to keep in mind, the two teams faced off against each other. Humber taking on the Redeemer Royals on the road, and that game went right down the wire, with the Redeemer Royals winning 3-2 in 5 sets. Take a look at the standings right there. Third in the standings are Humber Hawks. Right behind them, Redeemer Royals, 10-7 record.
And it's almost time to get this party started, as we will soon have the player introductions. But Manny, there's a look at our standings. Again, very close here now. For the Humber Hawks, really a lot of players, again, like we saw with the Humber women's team just a few hours ago, very deep. A lot of players Humber can rely on, and I'd like to highlight Taven Blackmore. This guy has come in. He's only played 6 matches for Humber, kind of a new addition in the new year. He's leading the team in points per set, and Blackmore will look for him to make an impact, number 16 for Humber.
Absolutely right you are. Just like the Humber Hawks women's team, the Humber Hawks men's team are relentless with their attack. Gabriel Mendez sitting second in the OCAA with a hitting percentage of .377, and to nobody's surprise, Matt, number 13, Jake Gomes, being a top player in the OCAA, as he sits third in service aces per set with an average of .69 service aces per set. So someone to keep an eye out is lucky number 13, Jake Gomes.
Jake Gomes from my hometown of Oakville, Ontario. Just saying. Now, this is a guy who will really go down as one of the great Humber Hawks volleyball players, and particularly from the service line. Now, if you're looking for something exciting, why should I hang around and watch the Hawks Sports Network tonight? The serves from number 13 from Humber, Jake Gomes, is dynamite. And this is a guy that didn't really even come into his collegiate career a strong server by his own admission, but really developed that part of his game. Dynamite from the service line. Very exciting anytime he has the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. A sensational player for the Hawks, a key player for the Hawks to set up the attack right from the service and the get-go. So he'll be a big factor moving forward in this game. And there you see the Humber Hawks wearing the bright pink jerseys today.
Now, we talked about the service game for Humber. Well, Redeemer, just like their women's team, coincidentally enough, Redeemer's men's volleyball team leads the OCAA in serve. So that's the strength of the Redeemer women's team as well. So look out for the service game for Redeemer to make a big impact. And none more lethal from the service line than Brett Jenkins. He has a walloping 49 service aces on the season. We'll keep an eye on number 9 for Redeemer.
Yeah, absolutely. And staying on Brett Jenkins right there, also leads the team with 220 kills, 127 digs, and 290 points heading into tonight's game. So definitely a factor for the Redeemer Royals.
Got to fuel up on that Gatorade. Time for player introductions. We'll be right back.
Hi there, and welcome to the nest here at the Humber Athletic Center for this matchup between the Redeemer Royals and your Humber Hawks. It's now time to meet the starting lineups. First for the visiting Redeemer Royals, a 6'3" outside hitter at Peterborough, Ontario, number 9, Brett Jenkins. A 6'2" center at Guelph, Ontario, at number 10, Andrew Van Dyke. A 6'4" middle at Hamilton, Ontario, number 11, Patrick Belisle. A 6'5" outside hitter out of Burlington, Ontario, number 12, Derek Bruckelman. A 6'7" middle out of Peterborough, Ontario, number 13, Caleb Jersey. A 6'3" left side out of Newcastle, Ontario, number 14, William Winklehurst. The starting libero for the Redeemer Royals out of Langley, British Columbia, number 6, Karsten Grimm. The head coach for the Redeemer Royals is Eli Toolkamp. And now, the starting lineup for your a 6'7" outside hitter out of Brazil, number 12, Gabriel Mendez. A 6'6" setter out of Oakville, Ontario, number 13, Jake Gomes. A 6'8" middle out of Belleville, Ontario, number 17, Michael McAlpine. And your starting libero out of Scarborough, Ontario, number 15, Alex Segui.
Cut the lights back on. It's almost time to roll. The Humber Hawks in their pink jerseys for today, looking extra electric, bright color. Redeemer Royals in their blue and reds for today. And we should have a good game. Don't look for 3 straight sets breezer like we had in the first game here. This one might go a bit later into the evening, as we have two teams, like we mentioned, neck and neck in the standings. Humber is not ranked number 6 in the province with their 11-5 record. Right below them in the provincial rankings, Redeemer at number 7 in Ontario with a 10-7 record. Like we mentioned, Manny, this is the last game of the season for Redeemer, the regular season that is. And Humber, one more game after today.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, how good the Humber Hawks have been, but Hawks have lost 2 straight games against the Redeemer Royals, both going to 5 sets apiece. So both these teams playing aggressive against each other, very familiar against each other. Should be an interesting match here, Matt.
Yeah, the revenge game for the Humber Hawks following that loss to Redeemer in November. Serve starts off with Redeemer. And Maximum Crowder. Pardon me, that looked like that Gabe Mendez, who was blocked up front. So first point of the game goes to the visiting team.
Yeah, similar start to the Redeemer Royals earlier game, the women's game, I should say, where the Royals grabbed the first point.
Jake Gomes tees it up to Gabe Mendez. Soft touch, fielded by Redeemer. Good blast there. A couple of Hawks involved on the block, namely Gomes and Kelsey. Good rally here in the second point of the game. Blocked there by Kelsey and Mendez. And Gomes right there. Boy, this is a heck of a rally to start this game. And stepping into it, Jaden Mill to tie this game up.
Yeah, Jaden Milner finishes that one off nicely. A great setup for the Humber Hawks. Finding the back line was Jaden Milner. 112 kills coming into tonight's game for him. Make that
sorry, partner. Jake Gomes serving. Electrifying player from the service line. And that thing had a real corkscrewy spin on it, but somehow fielded by Redeemer with some great difficulty. Michael McAlpine, rookie player for the Hawks, just outstanding. He's going to earn the point for Humber, give them a 1-point lead. Michael McAlpine, what can you say about the young fella? He's come into the Hawks and starting many games, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. Let's take another look.
No, absolutely not. A great setup there for Michael McAlpine, and Redeemer Royals doing a block, but that goes out of bounds. A little discussion happening with the umpire there. But like you said, 127 points for Michael McAlpine coming into the season, ranking 2nd on the team so far. So great factor for the Hawks.
Another serve from Jake Gomes. The most electrifying play in OCAA volleyball, in my opinion, is Jake Gomes' serve. Another howitzer. Partial block there. Jaden Milne keeps it alive. Gabe Mendez, heads up play, soft touch, and diving into the Humber side of the court.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's part of the attack and why he's sitting second in the OCAA for hitting percentage. Gabe Mendez with the magical touch, giving Humber the lead here by 2.
Yeah, good point. Mendez right up there with that hitting percentage, second in the province. Humber as a team overall, and there's a service ace from Jake Gomes. Seen a few of those this year.
Oh, we call it lucky number 13, but for unfortunately the Royals on that one, it was like Friday the 13th with Jake Gomes pulling off that service ace.
Nicely done. And here, see if they can dial up another one. Going for a bit of a drop shot, and he will not find that service ace. Looked like Redeemer might have found a way to keep it alive off the court, but nothing coming easy off the serve. Jake Gomes. Goodness gracious.
Take a look at that one again. Great serve by Jake Gomes. Royals giving it their all, but just not able to get there in time.
Another blast. This one just a little bit long. Sometimes that's the only way to end a Jake Gomes service run, is to just hope he mishits out of bounds.
A little bit of too much power there, but great strategy by Jake Gomes. He was trying to catch the back line, back corner there as the Royals had that wide open. And just like last game, Matt, we exchanged possession on serves. That happened quite a bit.
So we go tit for tat with service errors. Ball back in the hands of Humber. Gabe Mendez. Excellent hitting up front. Serve is in play here. Tip, but good job, Michael McAlpine using those long limbs to keep it in play. Milne's shot is partially blocked. Wow, scrambling to get it over. Miss hit way out of bounds. Humber now up 7-2. Good looking start here in set 1 for the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. Great rally there. Great effort by the Hawks to keep it alive. You said there was a little bit of a scramble, but the Hawks were able to get in behind the ball, enter the ball, keep it alive, and flip it to Royals, and not able to keep it in bounds.
Big blast there. Kelsey and Milne trying to block it for Humber, but just a dynamite blast from Patrick Belisle. And he's now serving. Patrick trying to get another point for Redeemer. Milne sets it over to Gomes, who misplays it. So the double touch. Charge Jake Gomes. Again, don't see many of those.
Yeah, not
number 13.
Not often from number 13, you're right, but unfortunate miscue on that one there.
Another serve here from Patrick Belisle. Milne's bump is taken over to the Redeemer side. Set up now for Michael McAlpine. He's blocked. Couple of Royals in the mix there. Milne is blocked. Excellent work up front by this Redeemer team. McAlpine finally gets one over that blocking front, and a net violation will give Humber a 4-point lead.
Yeah, great rally there. Redeemer Royals trying to do everything to block the attack from the Humber Hawks and keep them under pressure, but Humber finds a way to get that ball over and collect the point on the board.
So Jaskarn Kelsey serving for Humber, the big 6'10" player who wears number 10 for Humber. Gets his serve over with a little help from the net. And a soft touch, but a net violation called against the Hawks. Point to Redeemer.
And now Alex Segui coming in. Take a look at that net violation right there, coming into contact with the net for the Humber Hawks.
First-year player Derek Brookelman serving for the Redeemer Royals, and a nice answer there, Maximum Crowder.
Yeah, the leading point getter for the Humber Hawks coming into tonight's game with 145 points. Gets the job done for the Hawks on that play.
Michael McAlpine trying to extend his team's lead here. Hawks are up by 4. Good-looking serve from McAlpine. At the net for Redeemer, miss hit and sent out of bounds. So that'll get Hawks into double-digit territory. 10-5 is our score.
Absolutely, we said the Hawks have won 6-1 record here at home, and partly due to the crowd and how much noise the Hawks nest makes for the teams. Difficult and loud building for any opponent to come and play in against.
Another serve from McAlpine, nicely put in play. At the net, touched by Mendez, so the point goes to the Royals. Now, Manny, you mentioned it's really been quite a away stretch. The Hawks very good at home. Just get a look at that replay there. But the Hawks have had their last 3 games on the road. They lost against Conestoga. They won back-to-back games against Niagara and Sheridan. So now finishing the season at home, Hawks with a good chance to improve their standing heading into the OCAA Championship, hosted by Fanshawe over in London. Good play up front. Gomes sets over to Milne, back to Gomes. Big blast, that'll find its way off the head of a Redeemer player, out of bounds, and another point for the Hawks.
Yeah, Jake Gomes coming up big there, always involved in that attack, and then finally sets that one there with the power behind it.
Jaden Milne serving for Humber. 5th-year player. Hits it into the net. There was a lot of hot mustard on that serve right there. Ball now in the hands of Caleb Juicy.
One factor I'd like to correct myself on, Matt, I was looking at the wrong name. It's actually Jaden Milne that's the leading point getter with 145 points for the Humber Hawks. But
now we're not seeing Blackmore. Now looks like Blackmore might have tweaked something in warm-ups. We talked about Milne has been really with the Hawks throughout the season, doing a fantastic job. Blackmore kind of come later on in the fray, later into the fray. He is so far not checked into the game. We saw him kind of limping just a little bit gingerly after a play in warm-up. So we'll look out for number 16 for Humber to possibly make an appearance. That time Crowder sends the serve long out of bounds.
yeah, only 6 matches played with the Hawks and 40 kills with them. Points per set, 3.1 average at the moment.
Best average of any Humber Hawk on the season. Gomes setting it up here to Michael McAlpine. Strong hit, well fielded by Redeemer. McAlpine getting a quick hand on it. Milne will just have to get it over. Milne right there in the back court, keeping this play alive. McAlpine steps up, and a well-earned point for Redeemer. They are now only trailing by 3.
Yeah, great rally on the side of Redeemer Royals on that one. They blocked the shot, set up the attack, and kept Humber on their toes, trying to cut the deficit down of the Humber Hawks here.
Andrew Van Dyke serves for the Royals. Ball somehow kept in the air, but ultimately the point will go to Humber.
Yeah, Joskar and Kelsey laying down the boom on that attack on the side of the Hawks. Strong attack for them, putting them up back by 4, 13-9.
Jake Gomes' serve gets a little help from the net. Couple of Hawks converging, diving to keep it alive. McAlpine volleys it over. And somehow that's going to ricochet off the hands of Segui. That ball's right at our feet, partner. We're right in the mix right now.
Yeah, coming our way, making sure we're paying attention to the game and keeping our eyes open. The Royals cut down the lead to 3 for the Hawks.
Serve from Brett Jenkins. Michael McAlpine is blocked, but it lands out of bounds. So more offensive production from Michael McAlpine. Turns the ball over to Gabe Mendez, the Brazilian, getting his serve in play. Gomes tees it up for Milne. He is blocked. Some good play up front by Redeemer. Quick play from Kelsey to get it over. And blocked there. Kelsey, the big fella. Jaden Milne was in the vicinity as well.
Yeah, there's a reason why they call him the big wall of Humber, coming up big in front of the net with his presence there. And you see the hand go up and the energy rise from Joskar and Kelsey on that block.
McAlpine's blast is blocked. You got to give full credit to the Royals, particularly William Winklehorst and Patrick Belisle, number 11 and number 14 for the Royals. Now we'll get a second look here. They have been dynamite on that right side. Yeah,
they've been key in the side of the Royals, as you mentioned, for William Winklehorst. 180 points on the season coming in here, 134 kills. ranked 3rd on the team.
A little bit of a delay here while we have a bit of a mop-up job going on. Get the towels out on the other end of the court. That is all cleaned up. Time to get the party back on track. Belle serving. Into the net. So maybe the little cleanup job, the towel work on the other end of the court kind of took the momentum away as the point is handed right back to the Hawks. Manny, 5-point lead for Humber right now. Been kind of in that position throughout this first set. It's been very much the driver's seat for Humber. Let's see if they can hang on to that.
Unfortunately, that one will be out of bounds, and the point differential now becomes 4. But it's been a little bit of back and forth between the teams. A couple of points go one way, and then possession switches over, and a couple of points go the other way. So both teams playing very aggressive in the first and early on here.
Gomes tees it up for Milne. McAlpine with a bit of a soft touch, but it's going to find a gap in the Redeemer zone.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscue there on the side of the Royals will give the point right back to the Humber Hawks.
Of course, Humber will be hosting the national tournament, the CCAAs, right here at the Hawks Nest. That's going to kick off March 8th, right through to the 11th. So we'll have those games right for you here on the Hawks Sports Network. Point for Humber now. McAlpine.
Yeah, Michael McAlpine just doing it all over the court there. 3 digs and 2 kills already for him in this game.
McAlpine also right up there. We talk about players that can produce offensively for Humber. McAlpine right up there, averaging 2.6 points per set. That service ace is going to send us into timeout. The Royals want to slow things down for Humber as momentum clearly swinging in favor of the home team.
Yeah, Humber Hawks only half a dozen points away from sealing set number 1 in their favor. 19-12 the score. And as you mentioned, Matt, the attack on the side of the Humber Hawks has been relentless, coming from Jaden Milne, Michael McAlpine, Jake Gomes. Everybody's getting involved on that side, and communication once again is key, and the chemistry once again is key on that side. And when you have veteran leadership such as Jake Gomes and Jaden Milne and experience from the playoffs and the OCAA and the CCAA, it definitely does transform into the locker room, especially with the younger players coming in. And on the side of the Redeemer Royals, somewhat similar to the women's game, they've got to clean up a little bit of their miscues, get those serves over the net, and, you know, talk about the coach here, Matt.
Yeah, Wayne Wilkins, 27th year head coach, and we saw his brother Chris in the women's game. Of course, Chris, the coach of the Humber Hawks women's. Both of these brothers each have 400+ wins with their respective teams. So just remarkable volleyball coaching dominance from these brothers, the Wilkins brothers, and Wayne has got to been liking the effort he's seen from his team thus far.
Absolutely. He becomes the second member of the 400 win club, and we mentioned in the game earlier that probably some internal competition between the brothers. The race to 500 wins is most likely on between them.
You got to think, I would really like to get into the head of the Wilkins brothers to see just what a remarkable storyline that is, and what is the level of competition between those two, as they both done such outstanding work. And there's outstanding work by the Royals right out of that timeout, trying to turn the tables.
Yeah, once again, the Royals calling a timeout at a key moment, disrupting the momentum for the Humber Hawks. Head coach Eli Tolkamp.
Yeah, Tolkamp, head coach of the Royals. Milne with a nice blast up front for Humber. And that is hit into the backcourt. Gabe Mendez gets a hand on it, but unable to keep it alive. Now, we mentioned the head coach for the Royals, Eli Tolkamp. He likes plays like this. Nice blast into the backcourt.
Gabe Mendez, diving effort, gets one hand on it, just not able to get the full touch on it to keep that one alive, but excellent effort.
And just to round out the coaching staff for the Royals, of course, we mentioned their head coach, also assistant coaches Timon Moolman and Wes Schilstra.
Now, we talk about the long tenure of Coach Wilkins, though. You also got to look at assistant coach Hank Ma, who's also been with the Humber Hawks for 23 years.
Yeah, remarkable stuff.
I was 7 when he joined. I was 3 when Coach Wilkins joined the team.
Gomes with a very quick play. That's one thing he does a lot, just using the element of surprise. But Royals not caught off guard. They keep the ball alive, and they get the point. Now it's Humber calling the timeout.
Yeah, a little bit of leadership here from Coach Wilkins. Like I said, like we said, actually, sorry.
Yeah, what the heck, man? No, I'm just kidding.
the amount of games he's coached, he knows the strategy. He knows when to call the timeout, get the players to rally back on the same level. So a little bit of communication going on there, just to make sure that everybody gets on the same page. Take a look at that replay there. Gabe Mendez was just under the impression that one was going to bounce out. Just catches the inside as per the backline umpire there. But the conversations, trying to rally them back together and probably go back to the same playing style before the Redeemer Royals disrupted their momentum or on the side of the Hawks with their timeout.
Yeah, Manny, we have gotten much closer here. Hawks had a very comfortable lead, and things have really tightened up out of that last Redeemer timeout. But let's see if maybe the timeout kind of karate that these coaches are doing, maybe this will work in favor of the Hawks now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we both mentioned that this could be a long game, as both meetings between them in both teams have gone five sets.
Serve coming up here for William Winklehorst. And that will benefit Humber, the momentum killer, that timeout, allowing the Hawks to establish a 4-point lead.
Yeah, excellent job by Coach Wilkins there, calling timeout, allowing the Humber Hawks to get on the serve here and possibly close this set out.
Milne tees up a nasty service ace, and that's going to put Humber even closer to capturing set number 1.
Yeah, Jaden Milne, what a dangerous player. 21 service aces on the team.
Another good blast. Milne really dialed in with his serves here. Good block. Crowder and Gomes right there up front for Humber. Free ball now. Gomes setting it up for Mendez. He's blocked. Boy, the blocking has been on point for this Royals team, but Crowder is able to get the point for Humber.
Maximum Crowder putting all the force behind that one. And that will lead the Redeemer Royals to call their second timeout of the game, as the Hawks only need 3 points to close set number 1.
I think that's a good coaching move by Eli Tolkamp, head coach for Redeemer, to slow things back down. Humber really benefited from their own timeout that was called by Coach Wilkins. Hawks putting together a few big points. Now we'll see if they can kind of ice the momentum of Humber at this timeout, or can the Hawks keep the pressure on? All they need, Manning, 3 more points to close out set number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point something in the direction of the Humber Hawks bench here. And we talked about the importance of leadership throughout. While Coach Wilkins is having a conversation, assistant coach Hank Ma pulled aside a few players, and he's having a separate conversation. So 2 different groups being attended to by 2 different coaches, and it shows you that both coaches have capabilities of noticing different things and adjusting the players accordingly. So we'll see how the Humber Hawks adjust with 2 different ideas coming out of this timeout here for the Redeemer Royals.
Yeah, Humber, a very deep coaching staff. Of course, head coach Wayne Wilkins, 400+ wins, 27 years with the program. Hank Ma, Mac Robertson, another assistant coach, along with Matt Powell, Devin Targan, analytics manager Joshua Pascal. Sounds like he's probably pretty handy with the calculator and the analytics side of things.
Absolutely, and that's what allows the Humber Hawks to be so great on the court, and their chemistry with the communication and the positioning. So analytics a big factor of their game.
Hawks dropping the first point out of that timeout. Let's see if the momentum continues for Redeemer. Not a lot of room for error for Redeemer as we get close to the end of this set, and that will go for Humber. It's a big call there in favor of the Hawks.
Yeah, that one was going to be out of bounds from the far side referee's indication there. But a powerful attack for the Redeemer Royals.
Good look at the replay there, back to real time. Nazir Francis has checked into the game, serves it for Humber. And Mendez looks like got a piece of that. So tipped and out of bounds. 23-18. Humber is right within striking distance. But they'll have to make it through the serves of Andrew Van Dyke.
Yeah, just like a little bit of earlier in the set, back and forth.
Outstanding there. How about that, partner? Milne stepping into the play.
It's that trick play, and the Hawks will utilize that from time and time again. It keeps the opponent guessing. And the reason why that is, the Hawks have so much power that you almost expect them to lay the boom down on the attack on the kills, but then they pull that, and it just throws everything off.
Gomes with the serve there. That time got a piece of the net. Michael McAlpine with the big block. Set number 1 goes in favor of the Humber Hawks, 25-18.
That was a little bit of a back and forth, and then the Humber Hawks really took control later on in the later stages of this set, winning set number 1 by 7.
And we'll be right back for set number 2 after this.
Here's a question for you, Matt. What country won the first men's Olympic gold medal in volleyball?
That's a good question, partner. You know, I'm going to have to say USA seems like the obvious answer, but I think that's the red herring. I'm going to go C, the USSR.
You know what? I agree with you there. I'm going to go with a different option as well. I'm going to go with Bosnia and Herzegovina as...
Well, Manny, I'm hearing in my ear from our wonderful producer that USSR is the correct answer.
Yes, they are.
What, how much did we bet? Did we put... No. I'll tell you what, you have to, how about the wager there is you got to get me one of those delicious Humber popcorns after the game. Make sure you lock one of those down for me after losing the trivia contest there.
Those are good to scarf down on and definitely give you a little bit of energy boost. There you see Coach Eli Tolkamp having a conversation with the Royals, and on the other side, Coach Wilkins having a conversation with the Humber Hawks. Everybody's tuned in, trying to get back into the game, are the Redeemer Royals. Once again, they got to clean up a little bit of the miscues that happen, you know, slight positioning, some of those serves not making it over the net. That kind of seems to be a little bit of a consistent issue for the Redeemer Royals. But, like we said, Humber Hawks are such a talented team that those miscues, they will take advantage of them every single time.
And you know, Humber, so comfortable on home court. We talked about just how stellar their record is on home court. I believe 6-1, you've been saying throughout the game. Looking to make it 7-1, and of course, really just hoping to improve that position heading into the OCAA championships hosted by Fanshawe.
Well, I'm going to pull off another pun here. That's because they are the Humber Hawks. When you come into the nest of a Hawk, you better expect some aggressive game, and you're not going to come into a Hawk's nest without some fight.
Yeah, you're going to have to get some of those talons, you know. You got to deal with the claws coming out from the Hawks.
Absolutely, and as we've seen so far in this game, I'm going to pull another one here from Dragon Ball Z. The Humber Hawks seem to be going.
Let's hear it.
The Humber Hawks seem to be going Super Saiyan so far in this game with maximum power. As a Maximum Crowder is back in this game.
Crowder checking in. You got lots of height for Humber. That is one part about this roster. You look at Jake Gomes, who's a tall fella, 6'6", but that's just the beginning there. You have Maximum Crowder at 6'8". Jaskarn Kelsey is 6'10". And Michael McAlpine, you know, a new addition to the team, 6'8", not just tall, but just lethal offensively. Speaking of lethal offensively, Jake Gomes up to serve. This is a guy that can really contribute from the service line. Anytime I see Jake Gomes serving, I'm going Dragon Ball Z. I'm thinking he's going Super Saiyan.
Absolutely, Super Saiyan, full power.
And Blackmore has now checked into the game, so good to see number 16 for Humber in, although mishandles that play. Bit of an awkward opportunity at the net. So 1-0 for the Royals to start off set number 2. Set up for Blackmore into the game, and on the score sheet, Tevin Blackmore.
Yeah, Tevin Blackmore bringing the force. He seems to be feeling better. As we mentioned, highest point percentage on this team. 40 kills on the season in just 6 matches. Make that 41, actually.
Blackmore's serve into the net. We saw Blackmore moving a little gingerly on one of his ankles earlier, it appeared, but no worse for wear. Bouncing around just fine. Now serving for the Royals is Brett Jenkins. Good dig there by Tevin Blackmore. Up front at the net, Gomes gets a piece of it. The block from Humber was beat, but Gomes was there to save the day. But that time, the block unable to get it done. Manny, that's been kind of a contrast. As well as Humber played in set number 1, you really had to highlight how good the blocking efforts were from Redeemer up front. So far, the blocking efforts from Humber in set 2 have been a little lackluster, allowing Royals to have their 3-1 lead.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that odd bounce or a weird bounce when the block is happening. It ends up going out of bounds like it did on the last play, but Justar and Kelsey, or the big wall of Humber as they nicknamed him, comes up big once again.
Take a second look at that play. Kelsey is the tallest volleyball player in the gymnasium tonight. And he's now serving for Humber. That was a call. A lot of fans wanted to see the lift. That volley came from a little low. There was a collective groan from the Hawks Nest there, looking for a ball handling violation.
Yeah, that one looked a little tricky, but I'm no umpire, you know. And that ball will go towards the Redeemer Royals as they lead 4-2.
Serve from Patrick Belisle. Gomes tees it up. Crowder is partially blocked. Up front there, the block was in position, but landing out of bounds. Point for the Royals.
That's the second time we've seen that one unfortunately happen.
Patrick with another serve for the Royals. Well handled by Milne. And McAlpine steps into it, and Michael McAlpine is not often denied when he lines up like that up front.
Yeah, Michael McAlpine, what a dominating attack on that one. Going off of 2 Redeemer Royals fingertips or hands, if you want to call it, before getting the point. And now he's going to be going to the service line.
Humber in a small deficit right now. McAlpine doesn't quite get the hand on it the way he was hoping. And now serving Derek Bruckelman. First-year player from Burlington.
Another Halton regional.
Shout out to the Halton region.
Us Halton boys, we have something special, you know?
Something special that time from Max Crowder. Blackmore checking out of the game.
Yeah,
So
Gabriel Mendez coming in. Yeah, Coach Wilkins just trying to keep players fresh at this point.
into the game now. Like you said, Gabe Mendez back in action. And a service ace. Hawks are fired up. Jaden Milne continues his outstanding night.
Yeah, they've cut the point lead down to 1, and a big celebration there on the sidelines by the Hawks bench with that point.
Let's see what Milne cooks up this time from the service line. Friendly bounce off the net. McAlpine is kind of handcuffed by that shot. And my partner, Manny, you're right in the mix here. Gotta make sure you don't fall over.
Yeah, trying to get the ball to Jake Gomes, but I ended almost sliding off the seat there. Thank God they were not doing a replay of that one, but take a look at this replay here.
And see, that ball did make its way to the broadcast table and almost had a workplace injury sliding off the big play there as Humber really dialed in, keeping it alive.
That one kept alive, goes towards the Redeemer Royals once again.
Up front, and a good hitting there. I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. That was just a high IQ play by Redeemer, beating the block, a sharp angle.
Yeah, falling under the arm of Alex Segwe just by a hairline there. You see Alex Segwe with the diving effort.
A lot of noise in the Hawks' nest here, trying to interfere with Winklehorst's serve.
There you see the Women's volleyball on that side now making a lot of noise for the men's counterpart.
And Mendez, no, that was Crowder who pushes that one over. And a good blast there off the hands of McAlpine into the basketball net. So another point for Redeemer. Set number 2 is looking pretty good for the visiting team here. They're up 9-5. Shout out to Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Michael McAlpine was outside the three-point line. Does that count as 3 points if it goes in the bucket from there?
It should. Maybe we'll submit a rule change for next year, partner. And undeniable, Mendez steps into it and trying to eat away at that deficit that Humber currently sits in.
Gabriel Mendez on the far side with a beautiful setup, finishes off that attack strong, finding the back corner on the side of the Royals. And as big of an energy Mendez had, another player, Keomi Ellis, sitting on the stands there, was showing big energy after that point for the Humber Hawks.
So we have a serve coming up for the Royals. Put out of bounds, right back for the Hawks. Nice break there for Humber, who are trailing here in set 2 after a pretty confident set 1 victory.
Only 3 points down, and the man you want on the service line is stepping up. Number 13 once again, Jake Gomes.
Yeah, he started the set serving. He's back in rotation. Good opportunity here. Set up for Milne, and that is all credit to Jake Gomes. The serve was too hot to handle. Humber was given an easy play there. Set up for Milne. Pretty powerful stuff, partner.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I said. He's a key player from that service line. Really sets up the attack for the Humber Hawks, and evident on that last play.
And now another serve and a missed play up front. That ball maybe had a bit too much spin on it. Too hot to handle.
And there you see the plenty of options that Jake Gomes can pull out. That serve just drops down as soon as it crossed over the net, really throwing the Redeemer Royals off guard. And once again, another point for the Humber Hawks, only down by 1 here.
Chance to tie it up. Gomes' serve handled well there. Royals have a good chance at turning the tables, and they will put an end to Gomes' run of serves. Jenkins, powerful work there.
Yeah, just coming in front of Alex Segui there, just out of his reach. Redeemer Royals were able to put that one in the center no man's land. But once again, Matt, service not making over the net, and Humber Hawks back in control.
So Humber still just trailing by 1. Mendez' serve is in play. And undeniable that time.
Yeah, right in between Jake Gomes and Gabriel Mendez.
Brett Jenkins, powerful serve, just a bit long. Heads up play to not touch that one on the back line. So Kelsey will be serving now for the Hawks. Good look at the big fella. He looks extra tall from that camera angle. Lord have mercy. Up front, and the blocking effort there between Crowder and Milne was just not enough to stop that blast.
Derek Brookelman on the side of Redeemer Royals with a powerful attack. Residing in Hamilton, Ontario.
Gomes heads up play, thinking on his feet. That ball hung up on the net. Blast. Partial block by Humber. Gomes sets it up to Blackmore. And a cross-court shot from Milne. And stepping into the play, oh my goodness. Jenkins putting everything on that ball.
Yeah, Brett Jenkins, we highlighted him for a reason. A lot of the offense on the side of the Royals will flow through him.
He has an astonishing 4.1 points per set, which is truly remarkable and really does highlight just how big of a cog he is in this Redeemer strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately on that last serve for the Redeemer Royals, it's out of bounds, and Humber Hawks are back on the serve with Michael McAlpine.
Talked a lot about the rookie here tonight. Puts the serve in play. The block is there, but it's not going to fall in bounds.
Yeah, unfortunately, that ball ended up being caught between Jaden Milne and the net. And it just ends up taking a bad fall.
Gomes over to Milne. Soft touch, almost catches the Royals off guard, and that will ultimately work in their favor.
Yeah, lift called on the side of the Royals, so Humber Hawks cut the lead down by 2 for the Royals, and Jaden Milne now back on the service line. Had a couple of service aces the last time.
So we're just past that halfway mark in set number 2, and this thing has been kind of a reversal of set number 1. It's really been Redeemer who's been in the driver's seat for the majority of this one.
Yeah, I don't believe they've trailed at all in this set, but it's been a very close one.
Tough play at the net. Off the net for Redeemer. That ricochets off Segui over into the Redeemer side. Finding an open space, and this is really a close one. You said it, Manny. And I'll tell you what, Redeemer has a pretty good cheering section here. When Redeemer's getting these big points, it's getting pretty loud here in the Hawks
They've got some visitors here, and the women's team sitting directly across from her making some noise. Some players sitting directly to the left side of us, definitely making some noise.
But I'll tell you what, anytime the visiting fans start making noise, it really provokes the Humber home fans to get loud as well. So it's really amplifying that home court advantage as Humber is going to benefit from a miss-hit shot out of bounds.
Absolutely.
Like, there can be times where this Hawks Nest here at the Humber College North Campus gym is full of people, but if there's nobody from the other team making noise, it's kind of a docile environment at times, but it's loud from both teams' cheering sections. It's a great environment, and exciting action here tonight. Is that play up at the net?
Yeah, unfortunately, that one bounces out of the hands of Jake Gomes on the block. And out of bounds, as you mentioned, point for the Redeemer Royals. And like you said, yeah, when the Hawks Nest is filled up, the noise level in here is so loud that sometimes it's even difficult to hear each other, even though we're sitting 1 foot apart.
Well, if the Humber Hawks free popcorn was not a good enough reason to come out, which, trust me, it is that good, next Thursday, the 16th of February, we're having the rivalry matchup. The basketball teams meet. Humber and the Sheridan Bruins are here at the Hawks Nest, and that thing will be seating room, will not be much. It's going to be a packed house, is another point for the Royals here. But that basketball matchup, the rivalry game, the last regular season game of the season here in the Hawks Nest, will be electric, as it has been on multiple occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting to see some great basketball in here inside the Hawks Nest.
In the packed house. But right now it's electric, but really it's because Redeemer is playing some lights out volleyball, but Gabe Mendez stepping up. Gabriel is going to draw the Hawks within 2 and could even help his team further with some good serves here.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a back and forth here in this second set between the both teams.
Gomes over to Milne. Milne has been having a great game here tonight. Likely a candidate for the player of the game. McAlpine stepping in, and he's no stranger to player of the game distinction.
Yeah, Michael McAlpine, a perfect setup from Jake Gomes there. Take a look at that one again. Jake Gomes making it look like he's gonna go forward, but goes backwards, and Michael McAlpine knew exactly where to put that one.
Yeah, great teamwork there between Gomes and McAlpine. Another point for Redeemer.
Yeah,
now we're getting into crunch time here, partner. 19-17.
Yeah, the Royals just need half a dozen points to close this one out.
Kelsey hits it too strong.
Kelsey put that one in a dangerous area. Redeemer Royals had to, 1 or 2 of the Redeemer Royals players had to duck their heads out of the way of that one. But on that note, Coach Wilkins calls a timeout for the Humber Hawks as the Royals only need 5 more points here, Matt.
Not sure if we have any more official trivia, but how about some unofficial Humber Hawks trivia? Do you know the name of the French gentleman who invented the sandals?
I do not.
His name was Philippe Falop. Thank you, I'll be here all week. You like that one, Manny?
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one. That was very good. Here you see the Redeemer Royals having a conversation, a little bit of smiles and confidence. They've been doing an exceptional job by taking the aggressive style to the Humber Hawks in this set, Matt. And on the side of the Humber Hawks, they've kept it aggressive. They've played a perfect set. But just a couple of those blocks that have been going out of bounds, if those lucky bounces or unfortunate bounces did not go the way of the Redeemer Royals, this set could be looking completely different right now.
That's a good point, and it's just been that dynamic. Humber has been trying to claw into the lead, and it just has been very tough here in set number 2. Redeemer has had the sauce, they've had the juice. And now Jenkins is one of those very gifted players for Redeemer and the kind of player they'd like to see the ball in the hands of this late in the set. And Jenkins into the net, so Humber's timeout really serving them well. Let's see if they can continue that positive momentum.
Absolutely, and Nazir Francis will come back in, and Maximum Crowder comes back in. Juskarn Kelsey will get some rest.
Here we go, Nazir Francis. Big serve for Humber. Teed up at the net, softer touch. McAlpine keeps it alive, but Crowder just puts way too much on it there off the quick hit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a scramble play there with a diving effort on the side of the Humber Hawks. And as you mentioned, Crowder just trying to get it over, but ends up putting a little bit too much on it.
Here's Patrick serving.
Once again, the Redeemer Royals not able to get it over the net. They've struggled with that quite often throughout this game.
And not only is it allowing Humber to inch closer to tying this thing up, but it's just not allowing Royals to seal the deal here on this set.
Absolutely. At some point, you know the Humber Hawks are going to start to capitalize on that.
Humber not down by much here. Good opportunity to get a point off this play. McAlpine's shot fielded nicely in the backcourt by Jenkins. And then sealing it up at front, Derek Bruckelman. And now the Royals sitting very pretty. They're up 3.
Yeah, 3-point differential between the Hawks and the Royals, and 3 points sets the Royals apart from taking set number 2 here. And
Gomes denied, tried to do the sneaky play. Milne will be able to secure a point for Humber.
And that block going out of bounds, a lucky bounce on the side of the Humber Hawks off of a block now.
So Milne getting it done up front. Seen him do that all game long. He's had a couple of good serves tonight as well, so we'll keep an eye on number 4 for Humber.
Had a couple of service aces from back there.
Gets a piece of the net there, but it's in play. Big block right in the mix. Mendez, Gomes, and Crowder.
And just like that, the Hawks are within 1 to tie this game. Jaden Milne, big serve coming up here.
In play, that's big. Soft touch, and this is in the scorers table. McAlpine looked like he might have had a play on it, but he was doing the gentlemanly thing. Didn't want to hurt anybody on the sideline.
I was almost expecting a Bobby Orr dive, but instead of hockey, it was going to be a volleyball play this time.
Bit of a heart-stopping moment at the scorers table, but that's a big point for Redeemer. They are now back up by 2. And a serve in play. Milne stepping up. The Hawks not going down without a fight.
Yeah, once again, the Hawks aggressive play and a great attack by Jaden Milne.
So now it's
Alec Loney now coming in.
Loney will be serving, and Kelsey's checking back in as Nazir Francis heads to the bench. So let's see if Loney is warmed up and ready for a big serve. Late in the second set. Mendez is denied. Humber now with an opportunity. Soft touch by Mendez.
Great rally so far from both teams. Big block.
Huge block. Kelsey was in the mix there. Jake Gomes was right there as well. And now we're all tied up at 3. Loney's first serve looked dynamite. We're going to have to wait until after a timeout to see him continue serving. Timeout called by the Royals.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. This one's going to go right down to the wire, and this is what we expected between both the teams here. Humber Hawks started to rally back after the timeout called by Coach Wilkins. They started to find their rhythm and take the game really to the Redeemer Royals, and those couple bounces that have been going the Redeemer Royals' way finally go the way of the Humber Hawks, allowing them to tie this game now. But a perfect, almost a perfect set from both sides in terms of aggressiveness, communication, positioning at certain points. A lot of back and forth in this set here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it was just a good camera angle there on the cheering section in the stands. Things are getting loud in here, and for good reason. We are being treated to some outstanding volleyball. 23s is our score.
Yeah, 23 all knotted up. And the Humber Hawks having a lengthy conversation as they're still by the bench, and the Redeemer Royals are already on the court.
Now this song we're hearing now, it's getting the crowd fired up. Is this also a wrestling, a WWE song?
Yes, absolutely. The song belongs to the son of the legendary American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The song belongs to American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Nicely done, partner. I knew I could rely on you for the WWE translation there.
Well, let's just say PA announcer Dwayne Bowles is not the only wrestling fanatic in this house.
I'm sitting beside one, I suppose. Loney with another great-looking serve. Loney's come off the bench, and a huge point here in set number 2. Huge block. Kelsey and Gomes. Look how fired up Jake Gomes is.
Jake Gomes getting the big block that puts the Humber Hawks at advantage. Saffon Manning also on the court here for the Humber Hawks.
Set point huge here for Humber. Loney's serve finds the line. No, it does not. It is just out of bounds.
Yeah, that one was a close one.
Fooled me.
Yeah, from our angle, it looked like it was going to be in, but
Loney trying to seal the deal with the service ace, but high risk, high reward. Now we're back tied up at 24.
Yeah.
Of course, we are in the win by 2 territory now.
Josiah Siabenga coming in for the Redeemer Royals, fourth-year player.
Big blast, huge. And Gabriel Mendez, jinxed by Minnesota.
Yeah, you and me had the same thought on that. Gabriel Mendez coming up big. The Humber Hawks coming from behind. Take a look at that again. Juskarn Kelsey with the fake out, and Gabriel Mendez with the finish. One more point needed for the Humber Hawks to take set number 2 here, as you've got to win by 2, Matt.
Great camera work there on that replay. Jake Gomes with the chance to put it away. He finds the line. The official had to think about it for a second. Set number 2 goes to the Humber Hawks off of the serve of who else? Jake Gomes, the Oakville boy, putting this one away. 2-0 for Humber.
Yeah, take a look at that again. Perfect positioning, finding the back corner on the line.
Oh yeah, that was in all day.
And in your big moment, it is Jake Gomes coming up. What a comeback for the Humber Hawks in that second set. The Redeemer Royals pretty much led the entirety of that set until the final few moments when the Hawks tied it up, and that's all she wrote in that set for the Humber Hawks.
It's true. It was a set that just kind of seemed like, you know, the volleyball gods had determined that that set will be for the Redeemer Royals, but the Hawks fighting back and just finding a way to turn the tables when it mattered most. We were beyond the 20-point threshold, and the Hawks turned it on. Give credit to Alex Loney for checking into the game. Alec Loney had some monstrous serves, and then Jake Gomes also from the service line putting it away. Manny, are you ready for some more trivia? Folks at home, are you ready for some more trivia? I'll take that as a yes.
All right.
True or false, the first 2-man beach volleyball game was played in 1930.
I'm going to go with false. Matt?
I will go true. I say true. Folks at home, do you have it locked in? I'm getting notice in my ear. It is true.
It is true. For some reason,
again.
For some reason, 1936 was stuck in my head, and I know it has something to do with volleyball, but I don't know. what the 1936 is. We will get back to you on that, but take a look at this replay again. Jake Gomes, absolutely phenomenal service ace to get Humber set number 2.
This is like the forensic replay here of the Zapruder footage, and yes, that is...
Oh yeah, there it is, right there, just on the inside of the line.
So you had the Redeemer squad. They were maybe trying to sell the call, but I don't think they're going to be launching too much of a protest, because that looked like a solid point. But I'll tell you what, give credit to both of those teams. That was a fantastic second set. Win or lose, I mean, we're being treated to some phenomenal OCAA men's volleyball. And
absolutely. Once again, I mentioned it earlier in the game, the song of the tribal chief is playing out loud in the Hawks Nest. And, you know, interestingly enough, his quote or his slogan is "Acknowledge me." He wants to be acknowledged. And that play from the Humber Hawks definitely on the last set definitely received some acknowledgement here from the crowd as this building was erupting with noise.
Razard Sadiku there on the left side with the yellow jacket on. Razard Sadiku, former Humber Hawks men's volleyball player. Class act.
Yeah,
great.
Every time he went to the service line, he would crank up the cannon or load up the cannon, as they called it here inside the Hawks Nest. Had a very, very strong serve from that service line.
Acknowledge me. Is that what he does?
That's usually what it sounds like, with the finger going up, yes. Nephew of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Roman Reigns.
No kidding.
Yeah, the Samoan family's been very big in wrestling since early on in the days.
Well, you have a brother in arms in terms of a wrestler appreciator, because our DJ is loading up lots of WWE theme songs here, and it's time to load up set number 3. Humber really clawing back in set 2. They are now up 2 sets to love. And a big run serve to get the party started.
And that serve on the side of the Redeemer Royals out of bounds. Humber getting the first point. And the person, or the player, who finished set number 2 with his service ace will start it off again for the Humber Hawks. Jake Gomes back on the service line.
Jake Gomes that time sending it long. So these teams trading service errors to start off set number 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you mentioned, trading errors, and 1-1 now already the score.
And not going to work out for Humber there. So service errors turning into service aces. And the very talented very talented Brett Jenkins back with the ball. Soft touch from Michael McAlpine. Up at the net. A couple Hawks converging on that. Kelsey sets it up for McAlpine. And it's Bruckelman dumping it over. Gomes, quick set to Kelsey. How about that quick work from Humber?
Yeah, putting the force behind that one. Josker and Kelsey. Great setup by Jake Gomes. Right in the wheelhouse for Kelsey.
I'll tell you what, I'm a fan. I'm not just saying this because I was correct on both the Humber Hawks trivia. I like this trivia segment, my friend. We've got to bring that back.
Yeah, a little bit of general knowledge gets your mind going, and got to get those creative juices flowing in the middle of some sports here.
I tried to introduce the Humber Hawks Sudoku puzzle, but that failed miserably. But the trivia is off to a great start. Mendez with the serve. That was just a strange looking play as that ball went straight down, and some good sportsmanship here.
Yeah, a little bit of sportsmanship going on.
Officials trying to squash that, saying, hey, get back on your respective sides. But take a look at that replay as sort of a mutual collision, so perhaps no whistle blown on the violation because it was sort of canceling each other out.
Yeah, I believe the referee was pointing at Jaden Milner because he was making a little bit of a question for that call, but call stays for the Redeemer Rolls.
McAlpine is blocked. But it's going to work out for the Hawks. Kelsey now serving. Hawks could close out the match with a third set victory here. They're in a good position. They're up by 1 here in set number 3.
That one was Caleb Juicy. Big point to tie the game at 4 points apiece. Take a look at that one again. Just putting it in the middle of the court.
Juicy is the tallest member of the Redeemer Royals at 6'7". McAlpine, good blast there, handled by Redeemer. Give credit to Segway. He was hunting that ball down, but it was out of reach, and now the Royals are in the lead, and serving is Derek Bruckelman, first-year player.
Once again, the Redeemer Royals not able to get the serve over the net. Service error will lead the game to be tied at 5 points apiece.
Can the Hawks put the pedal to the metal, close this game out in 3 straight sets? It will not be easy. This is a very difficult Redeemer squad. And again, pretty evenly matched teams. Good serve from McAlpine. A net violation, giving the point to Humber.
Yeah, clear net contact right in front of the umpire there, or the referee there. And right there you see it, the net actually touching the pole on the side of the net there.
McAlpine with another serve, as the Hawks are now in the lead, 6-5. Segway just diving to keep it alive. Gomes directs it in the backcourt, catching the Royals off guard. Outstanding work by Humber.
Yeah, like we said, Humber's going to use those trick plays quite often throughout the game, and Jake Gomes pulling it out once again.
Just directing that into no man's land. Another serve for McAlpine. Hawks now up 2. Too strong. And that service error will put the ball in the hands of William Winklehorst. One of the veteran players, the only 5th-year player on this Redeemer squad. Set up for McAlpine. That was just beautiful work, stepping up from the backcourt.
No errors on that one for Michael McAlpine. Just absolute perfection.
And he's traveling a long way to get there. Watch Old Bandit run as there's a serve from Milne.
Great effort by Segway to keep that alive.
Mendez finding a sweet spot. Number 12 getting in the mix.
Just on the outside of the line there for the Redeemer Royals. Oh, that counted as in. The original signal was out of bounds, but it was changed to inbound.
Milne had it teed up on a platter. No, that was actually Nazir Francis up front at the net. He had such a good look at his partner, but almost maybe too much time to think about it, though. A classic situation there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's happened before to Jaden Milne, where the ball caught between him and the net, and Nazir Francis, unfortunately, and a double touch there, Matt.
And the Royals don't like the call. They're giving some glances of protest. However, Humber now 3-point lead. Things looking good here in set 3 for the Hawks.
Yeah, Coach Eli Toolkamp was having a little bit of a conversation with the sideline referee, but decision stays.
Gomes over to Mendez, blocked and out of bounds. So even though the blocking was in position for Redeemer, Humber does come away with the point as it careens out of bounds.
Yeah, and that was something we witnessed on the side of the Redeemer Royals from blocks off Humber Hawks in the last set. So, as we mentioned, blocks now going on the side of the Humber Hawks from the Royals.
Kelsey scoops it over, and just a mishandled ball in that backcourt as the Humber lead, Manny, is now grown to 5.
Yeah, take a look at that one again. Humber Hawks starting to build up a little bit of comfortable lead here.
And back in action here. Hawks looking good on this point. Somehow kept alive. Jake Gomes with a cannon. Ball still in play. Mendez doing great work to keep this thing going. Bit of an element of surprise there as it's softly put over the net. And that point tipped and goes to the Royals. Humber protesting.
Yeah, Jake Gomes was protesting, but I guess decision is going to stay on the side of the Royals.
Andrew Van Dyke serve. See if he can get another opportunity. Humber trying to get it done up front. Teed up for Bruckelman. And another point, and the Redeemer fans getting loud in here.
Yeah, not only the fans, there's a couple of teammates that have joined to the right side or the left side of us, and they're starting to get the energy going. I've heard the chants going, "Let's go Redeemer Royals," a few times on the quieter side, I believe, Matt.
Just an absolute blast from Mendez, and he's really turning up here in set number 3. Mendez, a big part of why the Hawks are up by 4.
Once again, Jake Gomes, the most dangerous man on the Humber Hawks from that service line.
He puts it into the net, so service error. Now, Manny, I'm blaming you there. I think you put the kibosh on Gomes by hyping him up too much before the serve.
I'm just a hype man, you know. I got to get the Humber Hawks going.
Gomes up front. McAlpine again, and that thing hit the scoreboard. Man, you so much power on that shot from McAlpine. It ricocheted and went as high as I've ever seen a ball go here at the Hawks Nest.
Yeah, that was something, making contact with the scoreboard there. Michael McAlpine, great attack.
McAlpine right back. Back-to-back points for number 17. The young fella is really making the future look bright for the Humber Hawks. Of course, seniors night is happening on Saturday. A couple of Humber players will be playing their last home game. McAlpine, hopefully many more home games to come in that Humber uniform.
Yeah, the Royals starting to give a little bit of a pushback here in the Humber Hawks and playing a little bit more of aggressive volleyball. Putting that one right in the middle of Jake Gomes and Gabriel Mendez, as you see on that replay.
Patrick Belisle. Jaden Milne stepping in. And that's tipped and out of bounds. Jaden Milne securing the point for Humber. That lead looking very comfortable right now as we're in that midway point of set number 3.
Yeah, 5-point lead built up here for the Hawks. Only 9 points needed to steal this game.
Kelsey's serve is into the net. And now serving for the Royals, Derek Bruckelman. Handled by Mendez. And outstanding work, Nazir Francis. He's come into the game a few times here. He's getting lots of action here at set number 3.
Yeah, Nazir Francis coming up big for the Humber Hawks. It was made contact with Derek Bruckelman, unfortunately, before bouncing out, and Hawks get the point. We're gonna get a little bit of a mopping action right in front of us.
And you see the Humber bench doing there. I'm not exactly sure what that rockabye baby motion the whole team's doing there, but
yeah, Maximum Crowder making that motion there.
Gomes involved in the block. McAlpine heads up play. And that time just catching the Hawks out of position. Good job here. A couple of big points for Redeemer.
Yeah, a little bit of a scramble on that play. Michael McAlpine was able to keep it alive with a diving effort, but just not able to recover or get up back in time. Gabriel Mendez gets the touch, but unfortunately goes out of bounds.
Winklehorst serve in play, and again, Nazir Francis stepping up, establishing that 5-point lead for Humber once again.
Yeah, take a look at that one again. Nazir Francis with a strong kill on that one, directing that down, make some contact with the net.
Yeah, really testing that net. Surprised it didn't collapse under the weight of that blast. Mendez, quick shot. And that hits the ceiling, and Humber is really establishing a cushion. And this is big, Manny, because Humber could just end the match here with another set victory
Yeah, 6 points only needed for the Humber Hawks to close this one out. Keep an eye out on the timeouts. Both teams have both of their timeouts left, so could be a timeout coming in near the crunch of this set as well, Matt.
And there's the service error from Jaden Milne. Milne has been outstanding tonight. He's really been effective up front, and a couple of his serves have been absolute laser beams. McAlpine with a laser beam of his own, and Hawks are now at the 20-point threshold and inching their way to a straight sets victory.
Hawks mixing up their attack once again. Jake Gomes with the setup. Jaden Milne and Nazir Francis goes up, but it was actually directed from Michael McAlpine.
Now we'll see a lot more of Michael McAlpine here in the Hawks nest. Of course, not just on Saturday with that matchup against St. Clair, but then in March, the National CCAA Volleyball Tournament right here at the Humber College North Campus gym.
You talked about the noise level. You think it's loud in here. You want to come see what the Hawks nest sounds like in the Nationals.
Oh yeah, you know, we like to have some fun and talk about wrestling, but then when the Nationals get here, it's like, oh, no joking around. This is serious business. Like the tone is just so intense, and just a great environment. If you can make it out, or perhaps you're only able to tune in here on the Hawk Sports Network. Great volleyball on tap as the Royals are flying to get under that.
Yeah, Jusker and Kelsey with a strong kill on that one. Jake Gomes, and there it is, the timeout from the Redeemer Royals. We mentioned that both timeouts were available for both teams, and Redeemer Royals with the Humber Hawks only needing 4 points to close this game out. We'll try to get back on the same page. Coach Eli Tolkamp wants the team to have a little word, maybe get some communication, and draw up a strategy to get in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that second set victory for Humber. That was certainly a comeback there in set number 2. Redeemer needs a absolutely heroic comeback. It's possible, but it's really going to take a monstrous effort.
Yeah, for sure.
As our screen has gone black here.
Most definitely, as you mentioned, that especially with the way the Humber Hawks have been playing, it's almost like when they can feel victory or sense victory, their game almost becomes that well-oiled machine once again, where they know they can close it out. They're like a shark in the water.
Partner, I don't know if the folks at home are just seeing a black screen or if it's just our monitor, but I'll tell you what, we're doing radio now. It's a radio broadcast. So the score here, 21-15. The Humber Hawks with the serve, and we're back live here as Jake Gomes putting it over the net. Kind of a more reserved serve from Gomes that time, not trying anything too ambitious. Let's see if the timeout works for the Royals. So far tonight, we've seen timeouts really work out in the favor of the teams trying to slow things down.
Yeah, they've really acted as a momentum disruptor for the teams, but great rally here on the side.
Tough play. Excellent work by Segui to keep things alive here. And will not be denied is Jaden Milne. I think we have a shoe-in for player of the game, and my vote goes to number 4, Jaden Milne.
Jaden Milne, definitely one of the key players in this game. 7 digs, 6 kills, but you also got to look at number 12. The numbers are reversed, but 6 digs, 7 kills on the board.
Yeah, and Michael McAlpine with 10 kills, leading the way for Humber players on the floor right now. That blast is hit long, no tip. And it looks like Humber is really getting close to putting this away, and it doesn't work out any better than this if you're Humber. You see Jake Gomes serving now, and maybe he's going to uncork one of his signature blasts to try to put this one away. Puts it long, partner.
Yeah, tried to catch that back line once again, Jake Gomes, but just puts a little bit too much power on it. Catches just the outside.
Oh, when you have an 8-point lead, you can kind of take a gamble like that. And now the lead just 7 off that service error. And that goes up into the rafters. That one hit the 2014 Men's National Championship banner.
Yeah, it was the Men's Basketball Championship banner, to be more specific.
Milne returning that serve. Mendez's blast handled well. Free ball for Humber. Gomes sets it up to McAlpine. Mendez diving in the way. Segui tees it up for McAlpine, who's blocked. Great rally here as we're getting into crunch time in set 3. And Royals, they are just roaring back here.
Yeah, what a tremendous rally on both sides of the team, trying to keep the play alive, back and forth. And unfortunately, just off the fingertips off of Jake Gomes there, bounces out, and the Redeemer Royals cut the lead down to 5 now.
So Marcus Morgan checks into the game for Humber. And sent out of bounds. Hawks getting a good break there because this thing looked like it was kind of spinning out of control a little bit.
It was already had a lot of force behind it, and the Royals trying to catch the edge of the court on the side of the Humber Hawks, end up putting it out of bounds.
Soft serve for Mendez. Put into play. Milne steps in. Chance to end the match. Out of bounds. There it is. Match point. The Humber Hawks win this one 3-0. They avenge their earlier season loss to the Redeemer Royals. Great volleyball action here from the Hawks' nest here all night long. And
right you are, Matt. Not only did they avenge the loss, they went three straight sets, cleaning house in front of the home crowd. And you see the sportsmanship once again. The teams line up in front of the net to shake hands. One of the greatest signs you see in any sports.
Now, Manny, we're going to be getting the player of the game. That has been awarded to number 12, Gabriel Mendez.
Gabriel Mendez, 7 digs, 7 kills on this game. Definitely coming up big for the Humber Hawks in tonight's game against the Redeemer Royals, Matt.
I'll tell you what, it was excellent play for the Hawks. They really had to battle there in set number 2 to get that deficit overcome, and they were able to capture set 2. And I guess you could look at that like the turning point here.
Yeah, absolutely. They mentioned they came into this game with an 11-5 record and a home record of 6-1, improving it to 7-1 and 12-5 on the season. You mentioned Saturday they take on the St. Clair Saints on seniors night with some players playing their final home game for the Humber Hawks. So it's going to be a big one, and you guaranteed this building is going to be loud on Saturday.
You said it, partner, and we will be back on Saturday for that game here on the Hawks Sports Network. Some evening volleyball action, and then the CCAA National Tournament in early March right here in the Hawks Nest, right here on the Hawks Sports Network. For my broadcast partner, Manny Kalra, and myself, Matt Hamill, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.